Welcome. On tonight's episode of the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party, we have a special Star Wars episode that features a family that got to spend Halloween in Poe Dameron's X-Wing, as well as a boy who went on a Disney Star Wars cruise ship and needed a special costume for the trip. It all starts now.
It feels like we achieved something
Okay.
bigger than we originally thought we'd ever do. And now look at it, it's grown huge.
My son Reese was born with cancer. What it ended up doing is it crushed his spinal cord. And when he was 3 years old, he got his first wheelchair and he wanted to be Wally for Halloween. So I thought, I can build one. I can, try and see what I can come up with. And so it started with just, building a simple costume, a Wally costume around his wheelchair out of a Dell computer box. It has exploded into something that was the inspiration behind Walkin Rollin Costumes.
Welcome to the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. Thank you for joining us. We have a great episode planned for tonight. My name is Lon Davis.
And I'm Reese Davis.
And we are the founders and co-designers, costume designers for Walkin Rollin Costumes. We want to tell you a little bit about Walkin Rollin Costumes and how it all began. Back in 2015, we came up with this idea of building costumes for kids in walkers and wheelchairs free of charge to the families. And we needed a place to really kind of launch the idea. And so we launched during Planet Comic Con in early spring of 2015. And we weren't really sure if it was going to be a good thing or if people would even show interest in it. We knew we needed to have volunteers to help build the costumes and donations to help pay for the supplies that build the costumes. So we set up a booth at Planet Comic Con, had a lot of the costumes that we had built for Reese.
Yep.
And just to kind of show what we do. And we had sketches of all kinds of different costumes that we could make for kids if they wanted to pick something like that. And we were a little nervous about it. The doors opened up first morning, and one of the first people inside Planet Comic Con was an older gentleman in a wheelchair. And he came right up to our booth, and he kind of looked at all the costumes we had in our booth, and he said, "What is it that you guys do?" And we started to explain that we build costumes for kids in walkers and wheelchairs free of charge. And we do it through a combination, and that's about as far as we got. And he reached into his wallet and he pulled out a $100 bill and dropped it into our donation bucket. And he said, "I wish there was something like this when I was a kid." And he turned and rolled away. And we never got his name or anything. But we kind of looked at each other and we realized we might actually have something here that is needed. And that was our first experience of starting this as a nonprofit organization with the public and kind of launching our own story. So I wanted to give everyone kind of a little bit of background of where we started, and we want to start off this Star Wars episode with a story about a family that we gave a costume to last year. They requested a Poe Dameron X-Wing, and we want to share their story with you. So we met with them a couple weeks ago, and let's roll the footage. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Lon Davis with Walkin Rollin Costumes, and I'm here with a family that received one of our costumes last year. This is Mike and Jocelyn Taylor and their son, Raylan. And so thank you guys so much for doing this interview with me. First of all, before we start, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about Raylan and, kind of how it came about to contacting us.
Well, Raylan is 6 years old, and he's currently in first grade. He was born with a rare genetic disorder called Joe Bear syndrome.
Okay.
And the syndrome comes with some related disorders, one of them being something called Coach syndrome, which he is also impacted by. And the primary implications of the disorder are a lot of developmental delays. So at 6 years old, he has yet to say any first words. He doesn't walk yet, and he can't feed himself either. He still prefers to drink out of a baby bottle, and we also have to do overnight tube feedings with him to get him all his nutrition and hydration. He is visually impaired, and he also has compromised kidney and liver. So there's a very strong chance that as he gets older, that both his kidneys and liver will have a hard time keeping up, and he may need transplants or some other sort of medical advancements as we get there.
But he always seems extremely happy and very happy here.
he's very aware of what is going on around him, and very reactive to communications, always as if he has something he wants to say in return. And I think you asked how we found out about Walkin Rollin.
Yeah.
And maybe Mike would like to tell us, because he was the one that discovered it.
Okay.
Oh, I saw a Facebook group that you had, and I don't know how it showed up on my feed, but it was, I saw a Facebook group, and there was some comments made about, different adaptive costumes for children with special needs, and I reached out to you from there, and then we took the conversation to email, and it moved pretty quick after that.
Yeah.
We were actually surprised at how quick it went, because when he saw the post, and I think it might have been because he's very into costuming himself, being part of the Star Wars 501st organization, and he said, "Hey, you should sign Raylan up for this." And I'm kind of like, "Wait, why do I have to do the work, right?" But it was the reason that I bring this up is that my first reaction was, "Oh, this is going to be a really complicated, drawn out sort of application. I mean, everything I have to do involves a lot of paperwork and things." So I was kind of like, I went to the website though, and it was such a simple application. I was actually really surprised. And then I also just had this assumption that there must be tons of people applying for things like this. So I really didn't expect to hear back. Like, whatever, this is simple. If I never hear back, it's still worth my time.
Sure.
And to my surprise, my delightful surprise, I heard back, I think within a couple hours of submitting the application, and I heard back directly from you. Yeah. So I was like really, really shocked that I heard back that fast. But I also was aware that our location was not necessarily guaranteed to have individuals nearby who would be in a position to help build a costume. And I think for us, first of all, we didn't really expect anything for free, right? We would have paid for this, but we sorry, our dog. Anyway, we didn't expect it for free, and we would have paid for it. So when we found out that there might not be someone in our area, but we knew that we lived within a reasonably close proximity to Kansas City, where it was only maybe a 3-hour drive for us to come down there, we were more than willing to come to where there would be builders who would be able to work with us.
Well, and Mike, she mentioned that you have kind of a connection with the 501st, and there was kind of a side reason as to why you guys chose the costume that you did. Can you explain kind of the reasoning behind that?
Well, we wanted to pick something that, since I do parades and whatnot, we wanted to pick something that I could put him in, and actually he could participate with me in the different parades and events. He could rolled along the parade route, or like our big events at museums, he can sit in his stroller and, you know, get engagement for people to come up and actually, you know, talk with him and whatnot. And he loves the attention when he's in it. He does go crazy.
And so because of that, we ended up choosing, we thought that it would be cool to do a Star Wars, you know, one of their battleships of some sort. And we really liked the X-Wing, particularly Poe Dameron's X-Wing. And we were beyond thrilled when the builder that we got paired up with came back with this mock of course, they didn't know what his chair looked at the time, but
Sure.
They said, we intend to build something like this to attach to the chair, and I was blown away.
Well, speaking of that, you know, we paired you up with Jason Hayes from Sustain Homes, and we, you know, to help build the costume. And they had never built. That was the first time they had partnered with us as well. So, you know, how was that experience working with them through this entire project?
It was incredible. I felt like we made new friends in the process. You know, we drove down to Kansas City to meet up with them, and it was instant, like, chemistry of just all of us interacting and talking. And they actually we came down to Kansas City numerous times. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 times through the whole process. And one of the times they were actually eating dinner outside on a patio in one of the little strip mall or outdoor mall areas there. And they actually just said, hey, why don't you just come meet us there? And we ended up having dinner with them on the patio. So but we just talked about so many things, and in the process, they were so attentive to really try to understand Raylan and his personality. And they had so it was Jason and his wife that were there, but they also had his like personal assistant that helps with all the office details. And she just was taking so many notes. She was taking pictures. She recorded a couple of things. And by the time we met up with them with the actual chair for them to look at and start doing measurements and everything, they just had this full idea of what sort of things needed to be included that even we hadn't thought of. They're like, well, we noticed this about him, you know, so we noticed he likes to kick his feet out a lot, so we're going to need to give him this much room on the design. And then they were asking questions like, does he prefer to sit up straight, or does he need to be reclined a little bit? Are you going to have to make adjustments? How many times would you have to pull him out of the chair while he's in it? So it just, and I think for them, you know, when you're dealing with individuals, and I know not all of the build teams have the kind of experience that Jason and his team have, but they really came at it from like an engineering architectural standpoint. And that was, for me, it was a really neat process, because not only was it creative, but I mean, down to like the angle, there was so much precision like with this particular build. And they kept saying along the way, I think Jason said several times that, you know, he can design cabinetry, custom cabinetry, like the back of his hand, and not even have to think about it. And this was just such a refreshing way to just step outside the box and use all the skills that he has on a daily basis to do something, you know, creative that challenged him. I mean, he felt challenged with it, but he really, really enjoyed it. And we could tell. So his enthusiasm for it was, I think, almost as, I would say it was about equally as engaging as our excitement that it was being done for us.
On the day of the reveal, you know, like, you guys came down to Kansas City for a reveal last year, and you guys brought a lot of people with you, and a lot of 501st and family members and things. Were you guys excited or, you know, nervous about the whole reveal?
Yeah, I mean, we had seen, well, we had one, I guess you would call it a fitting, prior to the reveal, and everything was, I mean, nothing had been painted or had graphics applied, and there were still a lot of things not done, but they wanted to just make sure that their dimensions and everything were right. So we kind of had an idea of where it was going. And of course we had the mock. I mean, we knew what they intended to build. So I wouldn't say that we were nervous, but we were really excited to just see the final product all put together. And that was still a surprise because we hadn't seen it completed. So, and all of our friends that did come down and family members that came, they hadn't seen any of the process. So they were just blown away by the level of detail that went into it and how it turned out. And I would say too, the size of it. So I know, I mean, not all kids ask for the same thing or want the same thing, and I guess, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything, you know, Star Wars Battleship to be small, but I mean, the wingspan on this thing, you couldn't really get through most doorways. So it was pretty impressive to see it rolling through the mall.
Well, but the way that they designed it to where the wings just kind of popped off really simply, so you could get through doors if you needed to, but you know, it still had that impressive wingspan to really you know, show it off. Now during the actual reveal, I think a lot of people don't realize how much it affects the parents. It's not just for the kids, you know, the parents have quite a reaction as well. And what were your guys' reactions?
I teared up. I'm not a crier. Well, he might dispute that, but no, in general, like especially in public, I tend to be one who's more reserved and not quick to show emotion like that, and I couldn't help it.
She had a helmet on at the time though. I couldn't really tell.
No, the photographer caught a picture of me wiping my eye. No, but it was just so I don't know, I think just to know that so much effort had gone into this, and not just the effort from the build. I mean, the effort that you and your team put in just to throw these events, it was really overwhelming. And again, nothing that we felt we deserved, you know, to just be given to us. So I think that was the other thing, is that like I really felt like I should, like I felt indebted to everyone. Like I owe you guys something.
Let's take a look at the reveal. Jason, would you like to come up and no?
Hey Jason.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Okay, so tell me just the inspiration for the costume. Not giving away too much just now.
Lon, what is it's Poe Dameron's X-Wing fighter.
Correct.
That's right. So we've been learning a lot about Star Wars and Star Wars mythology through the last couple of months. So yes.
How long did it take you to make this?
I'm gonna say the design process was probably a good month or so, and so I would say for fabrication, like maybe 3 months. Yeah, it's been a great amount of fun. The last piece is here, so I think we're right where you guys are.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
3 months. Wow, that's incredible.
We have all the family. We have Mike, Jocelyn, kind of scattered about here. So you want to come up with Graham?
Come on up.
All
This
right.
is going to be an interesting
So
unveiling.
we're going to let the team that built the costume actually assemble it.
Okay, let's do should I do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? For this part. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I just wanted to see this part. Oh man. This is so cool. I'm looking at all of these parts and I'm just wondering how this is all going to fit together. We're going to need some space for this one.
You guys brought a starfighter to bring us home, right?
Is it okay if I let this go? Oh, okay. Watch your eyes. Watch your faces.
And then the last piece.
Okay, this is the same though. If some of you are still milling about the store, I highly suggest you come towards the back to check out this costume. This is impressive.
Okay, now Mike, you told us you wanted a 501st accurate X-Wing for an X-Wing fighter. How did you feel that they did on your costume?
And they nailed it. This is so much more than I imagined when we first looked at the idea. Incredible. This is for, we do parades in the 501st, and this is so I'll be able to get him involved in the parades and push him around with us, so it's just amazing. Wow. That's really cool. I don't know what to say. But yeah.
It's incredible. You know, as a mother of a child that doesn't have typical needs, being able to see him enjoy something like other kids would is, it's making me teary-eyed.
It's a good thing you have a big mask on.
Well, we have one other thing for you.
Lon's really good at whipping out extra surprise details.
I'm sure you guys being big Star Wars fans, you are familiar with the person Brian Herring. He's the puppeteer for BB-8. He heard about this costume and wanted to do something for you guys. So he sent a autographed picture for you. And the inscription that he wrote was, "Some heroes run, some heroes fly, the greatest heroes roll." So this is what you guys get to take home today.
Wow.
All right.
And again, a special thanks to Sustain Homes and Jason. What do you guys think? That's pretty cool.
The builders of this fantastic costume. You guys did knock it out of the park for out of the galaxy. Thank both of you for joining us for this talk. And is there anything else that you want to share before we leave?
I want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Both you and the build team. I mean, it's just amazing. And COVID has shut down our parades, and all of our events for the most part. But next year for sure, you'll be in several. So.
Yeah, that is the great thing about the design of this particular costume, because it's built around the chair, and a lot of these kids, including Raylan, have chairs that grow with them to a certain extent. These don't have to be one-time use costumes. A lot of them they could be used multiple years, but they could be used for other events, right? It's not just Halloween. So maybe that's another thing to mention to families that I think people should get their requests in early. Don't think that you should apply in August and have it by October, although I think that's what we did, which is insane. But if you think that your kid would benefit from a costume like this, submit your request in January. Yeah, you might have to figure out where to store it for a little while, but it's definitely worth it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, both of you. Thank you, Raylan, for joining us. All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I want to give you a little bit of a sneak peek on what we're working on that's going to be seen in a future episode of the virtual party. So what you see here is a costume that we're currently building, and what is on this wheelchair right now is what we call a master frame. And we build it for a lot of our costumes, and there's a few reasons why, and you'll see why as the series progresses and you see kind of how it all goes together. But this wheelchair is one that we have that matches in measurements and size to the child's wheelchair. It's not the actual child's wheelchair, but we just have this one that matches it so that we can build on it and kind of help build the process, make the build process go quicker. So whenever Walkin Rollin Costumes builds a costume, we have 3 rules that we try to abide by for every single costume. One is that it needs to be lightweight, because these kids have to drive around in these wheelchairs, and you don't want a real heavy costume, so we usually don't use a lot of wood or heavy materials like that. PVC makes for a great frame. It's sturdy, it's strong, and it's very lightweight. The second rule that we have is that it must fit through a doorway. And so this costume is being built right now. This frame is 25 inches wide. A standard door is 32 inches. So we still have a little bit of room to build out from, but we typically try and stay within 28 to 30 inches so that there's still some give. But right now we're at 25 inches with the master frame. Now the third rule that we always try to abide by is that we want the kids to be able to get in and out of their costume very quickly and very easily in case they need to go to the bathroom or the parents need access to them for any reason whatsoever. So you'll notice that this master frame is built so that there is nothing in front of them. The child can easily get in and out of the costume. But the master frame, its purpose is so that we can put this on the child's wheelchair. Notice it's all zip tied to the chair, front and back and everything. And the child doesn't then have the entire costume on. They can put this on ahead of time, and then if they're going somewhere or need to take the costume with them, then the costume actually slides down on top of these 6 poles that you see sticking up. These poles going up are 1/2 inch PVC, but most of the costume is made out of 3/4 inch PVC. So the 3/4 inch PVC joints can slide right over this all the way down, and then it just stays on the costume by gravity. We don't have to spend a lot of time attaching it to the wheelchair. And so tomorrow's episode, you'll see how we put the next part of the frame onto the master frame. So stick around. All right, well, welcome back to Reese and Lon here with Walkin Rollin Costumes. We do have some builders located all over the United States that are working on costumes, and one that's even working on one as we speak. So he wanted us to give him a call and check in on him. We've been told he also loves weather. So we're going to do, I guess, a weather report from him as well as see what he's working on. So let's give him a call right now. His name is Bert.
Hey, Ron. I'm so sorry. I forgot that you were supposed to call me tonight. The weather is not really good right now. It's raining cats and dogs outside, and there's 100% chance of darkness tonight, so it's not real good. I totally forgot that you were calling tonight. I'm sorry. I got to go.
All right. Well, I guess we will check in with him tomorrow and see if he's a little further along on the costume, or I guess has even started.
Yeah.
But, it's okay. Next, we want to take you to someone that has worked on some costumes with us, and we have a little testimonial from her. So please welcome Angela.
Hello, I'm Angela Sauce. I am a speech language pathologist in the Kansas City area and a big fan of Walkin Rollin costumes. I first learned of Walkin Rollin as a member of the Rebel Legion Star Wars costuming group in the area and was able to be part of some Halloween parties of past and also Planet Comic-Con where there were some pretty awesome reveals. And last year I took a little bit more of a leap and became a member of a team that built 2 costumes for sisters who were headed to Walt Disney World. And the entire process of being on a build team was overwhelming. It hurt my brain. It was spectacular, and it was a lot of time and love and an incredible journey from the design, seeing what the family and the child wanted on paper, trying to figure out how that would translate into a PVC frame that would fit around the wheelchair, how we could still make everything work the way it needed to having to go back to the drawing board when ideas did not quite work out the way we wanted them to and trying again, and then finishing up those little details that really drove everything home and made that costume look how the child and the family had envisioned. It's a very intensive project from start to finish, and it's amazing what Walkin Rollin can do. Probably my favorite reveal so far, and this is a toss-up, this is a hard one. It has to be the 2-chair costume for the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels. And I am also kind of partial to the Arrowhead Stadium reveal from last year's 2019 Halloween party. Both of those costumes were exquisite designs, very different designs, but seeing them from that, just the idea of it to how it actually looks in person was phenomenal. I really liked the detail of the Arrowhead Stadium. It even had a complete working Jumbotron. Seeing that reveal, the family, the child's response to it was truly incredible, and it was such a fun Halloween party to be a part of.
Today we would like to thank our sponsor, New Motion Foundation, and they in the past have donated chairs and
well, they've done wheelchairs to help us with our workshops when we are building them for kids that we don't have the child's wheelchair there. New Motion has come in and has given us duplicates of the chairs so that we can have something to build on. And it's been a great help for us at our workshops. And we are thankful that they have donated $1,500 to tonight's episode as a matching donation. So any donation that we get for the next 24 hours will be matched by New Motion Foundation up to $1,500. So please consider donating. It will help us build more costumes for kids in walkers and wheelchairs, and it will help us build so many more costumes. So in addition to New Motion Foundation, here are some other ways that you can help Walkin Rollin costumes.
Syrup. I love syrup. Oh, hi. Hey, it's me, Buddy the Elf. Guess what? I've teamed up with Walkin Rollin costumes. We're going to pay for a lot of Walkin Rollin costumes, the wheelchair costumes. It'll be so much fun. You know how we're going to do it? Video calls, one-on-one with me, Buddy the Elf. I'll send you a link, and you'll get on your computer, and we'll talk just like a video call. It'll be so much fun.
That's right. That was Buddy the Elf, and he's calling straight from his workshop at the North Pole. And what we are doing, we are partnering with him to help raise more funds to build more costumes for kids in wheelchairs.
That's right.
And the way that it works is if you donate $20, you can book a time for Buddy to make a video conference call with you, your family members, your child, anyone that would like to have a one-on-one talk with Buddy.
Oh, yeah.
He will be making the calls between the end of November to the first couple weeks in December.
Yeah.
And he will schedule the time with you so that you know when to be ready on your computer and have a one-on-one call with him. And of course, yes, you can record the entire call so you can play it back as often as you'd like.
Yes.
Here's more details on what it would be, what the call would be like, and how it all works.
Sometimes Captain Crunch Even for dinner.
You ever put syrup on your Captain Crunch?
No.
Oh, you should. It's good on everything. It's good on Captain Crunch. It's good on spaghetti. Pop-Tarts. You ever eat a Pop-Tart?
Yes.
I just mix it all up good together. It's all wonderful. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. You should know that. You're a kid. How old are you?
7.
7? Papa's 547. I'm only about 35. But I'm a human, but it's nice to meet another human who shares my affinity for elf culture.
So that's how it works. It's very simple. And if you'd like to book your call now, go to www.walkinrollin.org/VP2020 for Virtual Party 2020. When you get there, there's an icon for booking your call with Buddy the Elf. Do it now. There are limited spots available. He can't make calls all the time because he's got to do a lot of work for Santa's workshop. So there's a limited number of calls that you can get this. So book it now. All right. Thank you very much. Remember, all donations go to help build more costumes for kids in wheelchairs. Thank you.
We can talk about your birthday, or we can talk about Halloween or Thanksgiving, or your dog or your cat, or Christmas. We could talk about Christmas. There's so much to do to get ready for Christmas. Oh my gosh. Santa's coming. There's so many toys to make. Oh my gosh, I've got to get going. Oh, hey, book your call. Video one-on-one with Buddy the Elf now. Bye.
Here at Walkin Rollin Costumes, we build costumes for kids in walkers and wheelchairs free of charge to the families. And in order to do that, we need your help. To keep these costumes free, we are always in need of donations and sponsorships to help fund the costumes and the supplies used to build them. So for the virtual party, we are offering some different opportunities for you as viewers to get something for your donation. So the first of which is the Buddy the Elf video conference call. You can schedule a 3-minute conference call with Buddy the Elf and schedule it with your child or anyone. You can record the call and be able to relive that moment over and over with your child. The next option is the Raffle Prizes. We are offering 6 different items as part of the raffle. And if you go to our website at www.walkinrollin.org/VP2020 for Virtual Party 2020, you can find the raffle prizes and see which ones you'd like to purchase tickets for in order to try and win one of the raffle items. The third option is to purchase one of our t-shirts that we have done for the past 4 years. And the 3 years prior to this, those shirts are being sold for $15, and we are limited to the number of sizes that we have available. So order quickly. The new shirt for 2020 was designed by John Nell, a local artist here in Kansas City. And it was voted by you, the fans, as the favorite choice for the design for the 2020 t-shirt. You can purchase that online through October 31st. There's no limit to the number that you can order on that one or which sizes. We will not print them until after October 31st. So order as many as you'd like. Those are being sold for $25 a piece, and all the t-shirts will be shipped free of charge to you. If you would like to reserve a call with Buddy the Elf, purchase raffle tickets, or purchase a t-shirt from Walkin Rollin Costumes, visit our website at walkinrollin.org/VP2020. Again, thank you for helping sponsor and donate to Walkin Rollin Costumes to help make all these costumes free for the families. Thank you.
Hey everybody out there in internet land, I am Uncle Bobby, just Twisted Halloween's friend, that's all. Just want to let you know that even though Twisted does not have a physical location this year, you can still shop Twisted Halloween online. It's twistedhalloweenkc.com. When you do, use the promo code WRC2020VP. This will save you 10% and it will donate 10% of your sale back to Walkin Rollin. Please follow us, like us. Thank you for supporting Walkin Rollin and this small business. It's you that's the true superhero.
All right, well, thank you for all the different possible ways that you can donate to Walkin Rollin Costumes. We do have one more way that we just launched. You can text you can text WRC 2020 VP to the number 707070, and that will take you to a form where you can then choose the amount that you would like to donate. So get out your cell phones and text WRC 2020 VP to 707070. And so that's another way that you can donate by mobile. So now Reese has an idea for how you guys can actually win one of our 2020 t-shirts. So take it away, Reese.
Tonight we are giving away a Walkin Rollin Costumes 2020 t-shirt to whoever answers this Walkin Rollin Costumes trivia question first in the comments below. What was the one reveal we had a celebrity help with? The first person to answer the question correctly in the comments below wins a free 2020 Walkin Rollin Costumes t-shirt. Good luck!
Yesterday we talked about the master frame for the wheelchair, for the costume that we're building for a child that's going to be revealed at a later episode. So here's part 2 of the series on the making of this costume for the child. So yesterday we talked about the master frame and how the costume itself will slide down on top of these 6 poles. So I've got the frame built for the actual costume itself. So it's actually going to be made in 2 pieces. So we have this piece, which is the back, and it comes right back here. Line everything up.
Things aren't glued, so joints are coming apart.
A little bit, but yeah, that's just because nothing's glued yet. Once we glue it, it'll lock down. But there's the back half of the costume. And then the front half slides right down on top of this. There. Slides down like that. And so we have the frame of the entire costume. Now you'll remember, we talked about the 3 rules yesterday. Talked about how it has to be lightweight, it has to fit through a doorway, and it has to have easy access for the child to get in and out in case they need to use the restroom or anything. So right now, this costume has expanded to about 27.5 inches wide in the frame. So we're still within the 32 inches for the doorways. It's still out of PVC, so it's still lightweight. And we mentioned that we want to be able to have the child come in and out easily. The nice thing about this costume is that the front part can easily come off in case you need access to the child. As you can see, that's done in just a matter of seconds. So you don't have to take the entire costume apart, and it still will go on for the child, just like that. So stay tuned tomorrow, and we'll have part 3 of the series on this costume being built for a special child in a later episode. Welcome back. We now have another story about a child from last year who was going on a Disney Star Wars themed cruise, and he needed a costume that he could take in his suitcase, and kind of gave us a little bit of a design challenge there. So let's listen to the story. All right, well, thank you everyone for coming to the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. We've got a group of people here that have a great story that kind of follows a few different states and a lot of social media in order to make it happen. So thank you. Let's first let's introduce everyone. Kyle, you want to introduce yourself and kind of how you are part of this story?
Hi, so my name is Kyle Foley. I am living in Florida. And this kind of whole thing happened. I found out about Walkin Rollin actually through Twitter because my aunt had posted something on Facebook about my cousin wanting a wheelchair that looked like BB-8, and I figured why not try to tweet something out and see if anything happens, and then everything just kind of went from there.
All right. And Leanne, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Leah Mcintyre. I live in West Virginia, and last summer, I believe, I was looking on some Disney pages about Disney cruise stuff, and I saw a picture of this adorable little boy in a BB-8 wheelchair at Hollywood Studios meeting Kylo Ren, and his wheelchair was super awesome. And Evan, my son, and I were getting ready to go on a Disney cruise in January, and I just thought, I'd like to make that for Evan to wear on the cruise, but I'm so not talented. So I just put out on my Facebook if any of my local friends could help me paper mache something that looked like this awesome costume. And I edited out the cute little kid, and I said, not my idea, not my kid. And then it landed to Kyle, and then it kind of went all over the place.
Yeah. So Chris, the story actually kind of starts with you. So why don't you tell us about your son and what you did for your son?
Yeah, it's really goes back to 2018 and kind of the same scenario. We were going to Disney and had landed on Star Wars Day of 2019, so May the 4th, to be at Hollywood Studios. I kind of had that, idea of, hey, what can I do to give him just something extra special, since he is in a wheelchair and he can't get out and play as much. So we started looking and actually found a post back from, I think, 2016 that was on Pinterest that was taken by the Dutch Nerd Club. So literally overseas is where this story, I guess, truly begins. And ultimately ended up reaching out to them and asking how they had found this picture. And they replied back and said, we randomly found it at a bus stop. Some couple had made it, and they actually put out feelers on Facebook to try and track down the couple again after I contacted them, and never found it. But that's really goes back to, and they just had a 2-dimensional vinyl sticker, wheel spoke covers and head that they just kind of mounted. So it was well done. So my first thing was, oh, hey, they did this 3-dimensional thing. So I jumped in head first for, a full 3-dimensional costume where it was domed. And that's where it kind of came to be, is I took that picture and started to go to work. So.
And how long did it take you to build the original one?
A few months. I think I started in probably October and finished it in, I think it was in April before we left, but it was not constantly working on it. It'd be a weekend here, a few weeks later I'd work on it here, and then I'd dedicate, so it's like over Christmas, things like that. So it wasn't a constant 3-month build. It probably would have taken me 3 or 4 weeks of actual work time by the time you got to figure in drying of either paint or the fiberglass resins and things I was using when I built it, because I was figuring this thing out on the fly, didn't really know what I was doing. I was just winging it. So and I think it turned out all right. It seemed to. It was very well received anyway. So
yeah. Well, and you said that happened in May the 4th of 2019, and so you obviously took lots of pictures while you were there and shared them on social media.
Yeah.
And which caught the eye of Kyle. So Kyle, you said you saw these pictures and you kind of posted it out there.
So I had seen from when Leanne had put up on Facebook.
Yeah, I was I saw Cohen's pictures.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to see if someone could help me make something like that. And then Kyle found it.
And then Kyle posted out there. Now, your post actually caught the eye of somebody else, somebody in the Star Wars community. Do you know who that was?
Yeah. Well, I do, if I remember correctly, the tweet was liked by Mark Hamill.
By Mark Hamill, but
I don't know if there was someone else.
Yeah, it was actually commented on by Brian Herring, who is the puppeteer who does BB-8 in the movies. And so he saw that
I did not even realize.
You didn't know that? Yeah, he saw your tweet and he
did not know that.
Yeah, he retweeted or replied to it or something and posted tagged us in it and saying you guys should contact Walkin Rollin Costumes, because we've met Brian Herring at a Comic-Con and he saw what we had done and he's been a big follower of ours. So he said you should reach out to them, which got us involved. Yeah. And so then we reached out to Kyle to get more information about it, because we weren't completely sure how to get in touch with Leanne at the time. We only had Kyle's tweet to work off of, and we said we would be happy to work on that. And so then you got us in touch with Leanne to make sure that everything was okay for us to start this process with Evan. And so then what did we do? We reached out
I think you reached out to me on Reddit.
Yeah.
I got a Reddit message from you saying, "Hey, I'm Lon. I'm this random guy that does costumes. We've agreed to build a costume based on what you did." So
yeah. So you were kind enough to send us plans and blueprints of kind of how you built yours, and we mentioned that we were doing a workshop in Kansas City where we were going to be building multiple costumes in a weekend, and Chris, you kind of volunteered here for a little bit.
Yeah. No, and just I had a few posts on Reddit, and one of the ones I was working on was a build guide that I posted to the DIY forum after I had sent you the instructions.
Okay.
And that's the one that ended up going viral. That made it was on a Friday evening. It was the number 15 post in all of Reddit.
Wow.
By the time it was done, yeah. So, I mean, it was one of those, I still have come across people that have shared it, you know, in other countries and everything else. It's been kind of wild where this thing has taken off from that. But that build guide essentially is what I sent over because I had been working on it. And as we were chatting back and forth saying, hey, if there's anything I can do to help you figure things out or explain a little more from my build guide. And you had commented back and said, yeah, we're going to do it in a weekend. And I was sitting there going, man, if you're going to build it the way I did, there's no way you're getting this thing done in a weekend. So I talked to my wife and I said, hey, I want to go ahead and at least do the domes that go on the chair. So that's where it kind of took off, where we kind of reached out to each other to say, hey, I need dimensions, because I think Evan's actually got a little bit bigger chair.
Right.
I believe he had 24-inch wheels. Cohen's were 21, I believe. So we had to redesign a little bit from what I had for my molds, because my original mold was around a yoga ball. So I ended up getting like a 36-inch balloon to form Evan's dome. So it was actually molded around a balloon to get that shape. So it was one of those cases of you figure it out and you use the things you have in front of you and the experiences that you have to figure out how to build it, even if you don't know.
Right. And then you got just kind of like the dome done. You sent it to us. We had a whole nother family that worked on it. Husband, wife, and kids all worked on the costume. They finished out the domes. They finished out the heads, and we did it in a weekend.
Yeah.
Finished it all up. And then we shipped it to Leanne and Evan, and you guys sent us these great pictures of Evan in the costume and trying it out, rolling it around. Now, one of the things that we didn't really mention was, yes, you said you were going on a Disney cruise, but you mentioned that the costume had to fit in what?
In a suitcase.
In a suitcase.
And it was a Star Wars Disney cruise. I forgot to mention that. It was a Star Wars Day at Sea cruise, which is why we wanted to try to do something. We always go along with the dress-up days and stuff, but after I saw Cohen's picture, I knew that we had to figure out how to do that. But yeah, it had to fit in a suitcase, and I had to be able to pull it with another suitcase and help Evan with his wheelchair through the airport.
Yeah, so we had some restrictions on how, the sizing and everything, how to get it to all work, but we got it to all fit in the suitcase. And you send us plenty of pictures of Evan on the cruise ship. But one thing that I thought was kind of funny was you mentioned something happened to it while you were on the cruise, and some casting.
Oh yeah, this was funny. We the heads on the BB-8 stuck out a little bit farther than the chair, because to keep him looking like he was rolling. And ships are a little narrow and things are close before social distancing. And we were having breakfast in a dining room the first morning of the Star Wars Day at Sea Cruise. And a server, lovely gentleman, walked past and he got a little too close and he broke off one of the antenna on BB-8's head. And of course, if you've been on a Disney cruise or to Disney World, you know that the service is impeccable. And it was like they were going to fix this chair right now. So they scoured the dining room for adhesive and glue. They tried to fix it with a toothpick and they tried to fix it with this. And the server says, are you going to be here for a little while? We said, yeah, we're going to have breakfast. He says, we'll be back. Where are you going? It was actually the maitre d' of the restaurant took the head of BB-8 and disappeared. And he came back a little bit later and he said, well, I took it to the workshop and you have another story to tell. we were able to fix this with the same glue that they used to fix the aqueduct, the big water slide on the side of the ship. So it was all fixed, all glued back together. Oh yeah, he knocked the entire head off. That's what it was, the antenna, and then the head was off of the mounting post. And so the head is now mounted with aqueduct glue.
And that's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
No.
So that's great. And then you when did you say that cruise was? That was.
It was in January, the end of January, right before everything went crazy with COVID. So yeah, and it was, we had such a great time. The cruise was magical anyway, but Star Wars Day was so fun. And we were part of a cruise group beforehand. And so people kind of knew that Evan was dressing up, and they had seen a picture of the costume in the suitcase. And what was really neat was that not only were the cast members and the characters really excited, but the Star Wars cruise is an opportunity for anyone who wants to use cosplay and whatever. But we had folks that were looking for us because they wanted to have their picture taken with the wheelchair that they had seen and with Evan. So it was really, he was like a celebrity before he even got there, which was really fun, and kind of the same experience that Chris had wanted for Cohen at Star Wars Day at Hollywood Studios. So it was really, really neat.
Right. Well, does anybody have any other questions with each other, or anything else they'd like to share?
No, but just thank you to Walkin and Rollin for providing this opportunity, and for Chris for the idea, and for Kyle for the connections. And Evan was really blessed to have this opportunity, and we hope to pass it on to other kids too with fundraising and stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Reese, just go ahead.
I believe there was one detail inside the wheel covers that we kind of skipped over.
Oh yeah.
Who
I think Chris could tell that part.
I communicated back and forth to Lon during the build, saying, "Hey, sending him photos. This is where I'm at. This is my progress, things like that." And was just thinking about, maybe something extra I could, what could I do to make it special for Evan? And ended up, thinking, hey, what if we put some quotes inside the dome? So on one, let's face it, what do you really make up other than beeps and boops for BB-8? So one has a quote from BB-8. One quote has, and then Han Solo as well. And then another one is the quote from Yoda, and it's probably easiest just to show those pictures, and we'll see them that way, so you can read them, and I won't screw them up.
All right.
Beep beep, beep blip beep, blip beep beep blip beep blip. BB-8, Episode 7. Great kid, don't get cocky. Han Solo, Episode 4. Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you? And well, you should not. For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Yoda, Episode 5.
Well, thank you for everyone for attending this Zoom call, and we'll continue with the virtual party. So thank you very much. We'll sign off.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I stayed good when we recorded. No, Evan and I are really close. So it meant a lot to see him with that. So thank you guys for that.
You're welcome.
And thank you for sharing, Chris. Sharing your kid and sharing your friendship and your talent.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those. I think I was just as excited to see, Evan's pictures and how he had done as I was going back and looking at Cohen stuff. So it still is almost mind-boggling that, hey, I've created something that so many people liked, and it has touched so many people. I mean, I'm guessing you had a similar experience I did. I mean, we could walk maybe every other stride before we would hear people talking about his costume, about this thing. And it was one of those, we started walking in the park saying, hey, do you want to start counting how many people, make a comment about his costume or whatever? And I don't think we got to the gate where we looked at each other and said, there's no way we can count. I mean, it was just constant people stopping and, you know, so it was just such an amazing experience for all of us. And to be able to, you know, share that with someone else, with something I'd done, something I'd made, and then be able to make another one, you know, to have the same experience. It's definitely something I'm continuing or wanting to continue to do and work on, for not only keep doing stuff for Cohen, but also working, you know, with Lon and on other costumes and
well, and just to the mission of what Lon and Reese created, that, you know, so often our kids, people look, but it's not always for a great reason, and it's really cool when somebody's looking because you're the coolest kid in the room.
Absolutely.
It's really neat.
And that's the main reason why we started this whole company, was, you know, building Reese his costumes for the first time, and watching, you know, the first costume we built for him, he was in preschool.
Yeah,
and
we made a Blue's Clues thinking chair when Evan was really small. We made his wheelchair into a thinking chair.
Yeah, and it was just the way that the other kids, you know, before Halloween, the other kids just kind of steered clear of him. They didn't really interact with him. It's not that they were mean or anything, but then when he showed up in his first costume, he was like the most popular kid in class. And
what was your first one, Reese?
Wall-E.
No way. How fun!
So yeah, it was fun. It was just out of a computer box, and you know, it fit snugly over his chair, so it worked. But yeah, and then every year after that, there would always be those new kids to his class who didn't really get along. But once we'd bring out the costume at Halloween, it was every year he was popular, and it was like the icebreaker that really kind of made the kids realize that it's just another kid. Yeah, he's got a wheelchair, but that's not who he is. It's just another kid that likes to dress up like you guys.
And he has better accessories.
That's right. I mean, a lot of kids can come to class as Batman, but how many kids can come to class as Batman in a Batmobile?
Yeah, Evan did that too. I'll have to send you a picture of that if I can find it. That was fun too. Yeah.
Love to see it. All right. Well, we'll let you go. We've got another Zoom call here in a few minutes, so we're going to do another interview.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you too. See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi guys, I'm Brian Herring. I'm the lead puppeteer for BB-8 in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. You never normally see me. I'm wearing a green suit and they rub me out afterwards. But I've been going along to conventions for a few years now, and I had a great time doing those. But I was at one in Kansas City. It was my very first show, in fact. And I met Lon and the guys from Walkin Rollin, and I was absolutely blown away by the stuff they make for the wheelchairs. And I just thought, this is a great thing. And I kind of just kept an eye on what was going on with them over the years. And then at one point on my Twitter feed, this fantastic BB-8 outfit came across the Twitter feed, and I was sort of blown away by that. And then someone was asking where they could get one, and I said, I know some people who will make these. So just by connecting a couple of people, just via the internet really, young Evan got to have a fantastic BB-8 wheelchair outfit that he could take onto. I think he went to a Disney cruise, but I saw some photographs. He looked like he had a blast. This is the kind of stuff I absolutely love about fandom, because it's a whole bunch of people that don't know each other that are all into the same thing, and they all work towards common goals. So whether it's fundraising or whether it's costuming and cosplaying and that kind of thing, I just think it's absolutely brilliant. So I just want to say hats off to the guys at Walkin Rollin. Please, if you can, give anything and dig deep for them, because they do great work. And everybody, please stay safe in these somewhat troubling times, and hopefully I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks ever so much. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much for everybody watching. That pretty much wraps up our first episode of the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. There's a few people that I would really like to thank who have helped with this entire episode. And so those people, I would like to thank the Taylor family for telling us the story about the X-Wing, Chris Rude, Leah Mcintyre, Kyle Foley for all telling us about the BB-8, Brian Herring and Angela Sauce for their testimonials, and our sponsor for tonight's episode, New Motion Foundation. And then I'd also like to thank Jason Hunt from Sci-Fi For Me for helping us broadcast this entire production, for Chris Rude for helping with editing and interviewing, Twisted Halloween for the sponsorship with the ordering things from their website, Buddy the Elf, John Nell, who designed this 2020 t-shirt, and the Davis family for everything that they sacrificed for us to make this show. Know that you know the New Motion Foundation, keep in mind that they are matching all donations for the next 24 hours up to $1,500. So please make any donations you'd like to Walkin Rollin Costumes, and know that it counts twice. So please think about doing that. And then also remember that you can go to walkinrollin.org/VP 2020 for Virtual Party 2020. And you can reserve your time to have a face-to-face video call with Buddy the Elf. You can purchase your raffle tickets to win one of the prizes that we have available, or you can order your t-shirts, all the past shirts as well as the new one for 2020.
The past shirts are a limited quantity, so order them as soon as you can.
And then we would like to also remind people that you can text WRC 2020 VP to the number 707070, and you can make a donation that way from your mobile phone. And then I'd also like to let people know that tomorrow's episode again starts at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we will be talking with volunteers who have worked with costumes, building costumes, and you'll find out how to become a volunteer and what all that entails. And so that's on tomorrow night's episode. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and stay safe and keep rolling from home. Thanks.
I want to reach more kids, and the only way to do that is to have more volunteers. I want to see every child that wants one of these costumes to get one. If you know a teacher at a high school, or a Boy Scout troop leader, Girl Scout troop leader, any type of group or organization that would like to attempt to build one of these costumes or to help out a child, contact us. We have lots of resources. We have plenty of people willing to help build these costumes, but we need to get the message out. So share this video, let them know about what we do, why we do it, and get us in contact with kids who might need a costume, or any adults or families that would like to help build a costume. We're here for you.